Hello everyone, welcome to our talk today. Great to see so many people here. Great to see the buzz out on the exhibit hall as well. I'm joined by one of our wonderful customers, John, who's the CEO of ASK BOSCO, who's going to be talking about how they're delivering marketing analytics with search and AI and with the ThoughtSpot platform. My name's James Smith. I run ThoughtSpot in the EMEA business, and I'll admit it that I'm quite passionate about data. Hopefully I'm at the right conference, it seems that I am. That passion comes from a very early point in my career. I'm always fascinated by the origin story of people's journey into data and where they've got their passion from data from. I was very lucky enough to work at an organisation early on in my career that allowed me to see the power of putting data in the hands of business people. And when you put an easy to use product in the hands of a business person, it's a real special moment. You can see for that first time the impact it has when they can ask a question of the data and get that answer back. All of a sudden, they can get an answer, they can spot an insight, they can see a trend. It's quite an enlightening moment for them. You know, it's almost like someone's turned the lights on with data. All of a sudden, where once there was darkness, there's light, where once there's doubt, there's certainty. And it's a real empowering moment. That's really been what my career has been about, is how do we create these empowering moments, these eureka moments for business users to get them to lean into data and get them using it every single day. I've been searching for an opportunity to have that impact on business users throughout my career, and been very lucky enough to work with some great organisations along the way. Luckily, the tech has improved since the start of my career. Back then it was on-premise data warehouses and business objects and Cognos reports. Luckily, the majority of that we've moved on from that. But the technique, the mission, the purpose hasn't changed. It's all about getting people hands-on with data to have these eureka moments. I've been lucky enough to be involved in some of the probably largest data transformations that have happened in the UK over the last couple of years. I've certainly seen the good, a bit of the bad, a little bit of the ugly as well. But when I look at the transformations that have been successful, I think about two key ingredients. Every single transformation that I've seen has been successful have delivered an incredibly easy to use data product to the end user and delivered that with contextualized data. I think if you don't have those two ingredients working together, you're not going to have success. So how do you create an environment where you can have this ease of use product, this data product for business users alongside contextual data? Well, the first thing you need to do is buy ThoughtSpot. Never a truer word said in jest, but ThoughtSpot is all about ease of use. That's the thing that we've been built on. That's the thing that we're really passionate about. We do that by giving a Google-like interface for business users to ask questions to their data. Because business users don't think in dashboards, they don't think in drag and drop, they certainly don't think in code, they think in questions. What were my sales last year? And how can I improve that? What area of cost can I take out of my business? How do I engage this area of my customer base more? They think in business questions. So we give them an interface that they can ask those questions and get the answer back in a very visual way. And then they can ask that next question, and that next question, and that next question. And all of a sudden they get into that deep level of why, that deep level of insight that they can actually take an action and go ahead and change their organisation. And it's really empowering for the business user because all of a sudden they're self-reliant. They're not having to rely on another team or another person to answer that question for them. They can answer that question themselves. And again, they can deliver those eureka moments every single day. Gartner agrees that our ease of use and the way that our technology works with generative AI sets us apart from the market. They've recently moved us up into that leader quadrant off the back of the market momentum that we're seeing. The one unique thing about us in being in that top right quadrant is the fact that we're the only independent analytics organisation there. Every single organisation in there has other things that they care about. We wake up every day thinking about how can we engage more people with data, how can we create more of those enlightened moments and eureka moments. That's what we care about. So that ease of use is what we've been built on. And then the contextualized data can be done in a couple of different ways. There's internal analytics, ThoughtSpot Analytics, which is about how do you engage your internal people with the contextualized data that's right for them, right for their department, right for their role, whether that be sales, marketing, HR data. And then an increasing usage is ThoughtSpot Embedded. And that's when you're wanting to embed analytics within a product, an application, some sort of portal perhaps. Lots of people are doing this to try and monetize their data, make their products more sticky, get better usage of their products. Lots of different reasons, but that's an increasing area. And one of the best examples of an organization doing ThoughtSpot embedded analytics is ASK BOSCO. So they're delivering the ease of use around the ThoughtSpot platform alongside that contextualized marketing data to create these eureka moments every single day. And I think, John, you went on a fairly decent technology evaluation to land on ThoughtSpot, and I thought it'd be great for you to come and share your journey with the audience today.
I'll get everybody to buy ThoughtSpot.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the plan. Right. So, I'm John Readman. And I'm going to walk through our journey of how we got to where we got to and how we ended up embedding ThoughtSpot's platform into our platform. And then I'm going to sort of show you it working. We will be on the ThoughtSpot stand after, if anybody wants to have a chat or ask any questions. So I just thought I'd give you a context of who's worked in sort of database marketing and marketing for a while. Anybody, hands up? Who remembers typing in a postcode and the first time an address came back, you were like, wow. Anybody remember quick address systems? That was like a thing, right? And I used to lead sales for quick address systems. Nowadays, they'd call that AI, right? It was just good database logic and a nice fuzzy bit of logic and a bit of a lookup table. But I started my career sort of delivering direct mail and helping call centers take more calls. And I've just got obsessed with a very similar thing to what James was talking about in helping people answer data questions. I then moved into email marketing, but when it was actually just marketing, even before like the internet. I remember presenting to Debenhams a postcode lookup software. There's nobody from, no, there isn't a Debenhams anymore, is there? This is probably why. They'd said, oh, we know what the internet's for now. It's to find our physical stores, all right? Because they could type in a postcode and find their nearest store. I then moved into search marketing, so SEO, PPC. And whilst we were then at search marketing, we had hundreds of clients who had this distrust of their data. And they didn't understand their data. And Google was saying one thing, we were saying a different thing, and this was becoming a problem. So we employed loads of super smart people to build dashboards. Right? And then if we could really afford it, we'd buy a Tableau or Power BI dashboard and we'd go and do that. Or we'd do it in Looker Studio, but this was like an industry. Then I moved to Summit Media and we looked after Argos. And Argos was the biggest, I was in the meeting where we got rid of the Argos catalog. I'm sorry, all those people when you were young and used to circle the toys for what you wanted for Christmas, you now have to go online. But they used to spend £2 million a month on Google Ads. So they obviously wanted to know exactly where are they spending their money. And we built a first version of what we've now got at ASK BOSCO when we were at Summit for Argos to try and predict exactly where to spend your money to get the result you want to get. When I'm not doing that, I'm cycling to Sydney to raise money for an orphanage in Uganda. And this afternoon I head to Geneva to cycle to Milan. So if you want to talk about cycling, I'm super interested in that and we can talk about that later. But whilst I was cycling, I met the founder of Skyscanner. And we were on one of our trips, and I'm saying it's a real problem about visibility, transparency, and trust in data, particularly in marketing. Because if you think how much businesses are spending on marketing, if they can't trust that spend or understand where to spend it next, this is a problem. He agreed, and we set up ASK BOSCO. So I set up this company with the founder of Skyscanner, and we now still support through our business One More Child, which is a Ugandan orphanage. And one of the children at One More Child is called Modo, and the 25 is the link to our cycling business. We have a digital consultancy and in-housing business who've been testing our software. And ASK BOSCO, we were like, who's Modo going to go to ask for vision, advice about the future? Well, she's going to ask BOSCO, who's the guy who runs the charity. So we are a for-profit technology business, but hopefully we're nice people. So that's me. So what problem are we trying to fix? All right, this is a really tricky problem. Anybody good at the Rubik's Cube? Anybody can do that quick? Often at these sorts of conferences, there's super smart people who can do that. But there's 4 big problems that we think exist, particularly around marketing data. Who here particularly works with marketing data? Right. Don't ask me any hard questions. So we've got too much data, right? Fundamentally, and every time somebody clicks, every time there's an impression, we're just building up more and more data all the time. Right? The winner there are the cloud providers who are going to charge you to store all of that. There's a huge lack of trust. Who was a little bit skeptical about PMAX when it first came out, and it's like, oh, just give us all your money and we'll go tell you where to spend it, right? That's, in my opinion, a bit like putting the kid in charge of the sweet shop, and it's just like we all know what's going to happen. And anybody actually particularly involved in any ad buying or ad purchasing and that sort of stuff, the cost of advertising online is just going up and up and up. And the only winner there is Google, Facebook, TikTok. If you want one piece of free advice today, if you're not doing aggressive marketing on TikTok, no matter your demographic, you should be. It's the cheapest possible traffic out there right now. And everybody go, oh, my customers aren't on TikTok. My mum's on TikTok and she's 80, right? So, but then it's also difficult to plan and forecast. So you'll have somebody in finance saying, right, how much are we going to spend on Google? Somebody in marketing goes, oh, I'll tell you what, I'll go ask Google. And Google say, I tell you what, you need to spend more money on Google. I've never been to a meeting with Google that tells me to spend more money on Facebook, and I've never been to a meeting with Facebook to tell me to spend more money on Google. Right, so this is a problem. So how do we fix that? What we want to do is connect all this data into one place. We then want to use some AI and machine learning to ultimately give you the answers for your teams, your e-commerce teams. So we help other marketing agencies do this for their clients, and we help direct brands who want to do it themselves. And where we want to answer the question is, where do I invest my next pound? So that's the big problem we're trying to solve. And then I'm going to talk about in a minute how we needed ThoughtSpot's help to get to that point. So if you've ever done marketing reporting or you've been in e-commerce, when we were at Summit Media, we had the reporting team come to work at 6:30 a.m. on a Monday morning to check the reports right, so we could have them in Argos's inbox for 8 o'clock so that they had the right reports for their trading meetings. And that was just normal. But actually, if you had the right data and the right technology, they could have had a lie-in and taken their kids to school, right? So I don't know if this resonates with anybody. This sort of Monday, there's a few nods going on. So we're going to get rid of that. And this is how we do it. So we're going to talk through our little journey on connecting data. I'm a bit worried we might have some of the connecting data people in the audience, because I'm going to have a view on a lot of that. Then we're going to talk about reporting at the end and give you a demo on what we built. Benchmarking, because again, if you're having a great month, well, is everybody else having a great month? Or is the market up, is the market down? And then how can we predict the future? So, you'll have heard of some of these. I did have some lovely emojis of people sat at laptops, but I did it on a Mac, and when I moved it to the PC, it destroyed my emojis. So if you can imagine lots of people on computers at the bottom here, please. So you will have heard of a lot of these companies. They've all got stands here. Apologies to any of you if you're in the audience. It's too expensive to do it like that. If you've got multiple ad channels with multiple connectors, with thousands of rows of data, it's too expensive. Or you have to go and build your own APIs, but then you've got to maintain it and you've got to support it. That's also quite a hard thing to do. So we originally built our proof of concept with Funnel, and it's a good piece of kit, but it got too expensive really quickly. And I'm like, we're going to have to build this ourselves. So we have an in-house team of 4 particular data engineers who just build and maintain connectors for marketing channels and e-commerce channels. So that's like our thing. If you got hard questions, Johnny, one of our data scientists, is at the front here, so you can come and ask him the really hard questions. Then what we wanted to do was benchmark. So you can go and get these other big platforms that give you loads of data, but if you're the CEO, or if you're the finance director or the CMO, you want one direction of travel, right? One core metric. A thing that I used to love was Hitwise. Anybody remember Hitwise? Right, Hitwise has died, it's gone, and that used to just give you your Hitwise number, and the Hitwise number used to be in the board pack, and how we up compared to our peers, how we up compared to the market. So we've invented the ASK BOSCO index that combines multiple third-party data sources to tell you how is your online visibility versus your peers versus the rest of the market in all these different channels. So, and again, we've combined other data sets to build this and then overlaid our own data. Right? So you might be thinking we're flying, but the market's flying, or actually we're down, but everybody else is up. What's going on? So that's the benchmarking side. And then once we've got all of this data, so we take 2 years of historical data, we then look at seasonality, trends, sale periods, and then we run our own machine learning and our own models to basically predict what we think is going to happen next. And then we provide a scenario planning tool where you say, because we can recommend what we think you should spend and what outcome you're going to get, but we can also, you can go in and type in, right, what if I spend this, what will happen? Or a better question, how much should I be spending? Right, some of you will work with finance directors or CEOs who go, I don't care, as long as we hit this cost of sale, we can just keep spending. Right? So we help answer those questions to some degree of accuracy. So rather than they go, well, who came up with that number? And you go, well, it was me, I created a spreadsheet. You can go, we've got this clever tool, we can blame them. Right? It's ASK BOSCO's fault, right? So it helps you as data people. So when we were looking at reporting, I'm sure everybody in the room's played with Looker, and Looker was great, right? We built our proof of concept model with Looker. So we had funnel, we had Looker, and it worked. And we got the data connected, we started building loads of dashboards, and then somebody would go, oh, we've improved this dashboard, and I go, yeah, but we've got 100 clients on it now, and we'd have to have somebody sit there, in Johnny's team would sit there and go, and have to update 100 dashboards manually. Right? That wasn't very scalable as a software business. And then we were like, well, surely we can build one of these. And then we looked and priced out, should we build our own, like we did with our own connectors, and that's just too hard, right? And I don't have enough money, right, to build one of those. So then we thought, right, who do we think's really good? Right, so we thought Tableau's brilliant. We'll go talk to Tableau. And right, who here's used Tableau before? Yeah, most of you have used Tableau. Right, it's a really good bit of kit. So we're like, right, we want an embedded version of Tableau in our software, and I'm willing to pay this much per client to you, so you've almost got a percentage share in my business as I grow. And Tableau goes, oh, but if you want to edit a dashboard, you've got to pay £500 per user per month. And I'm like, yeah, but I want them all to be able to edit a dashboard because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to unlock their data to make it easier for them. I got to the senior vice president of Salesforce in America to have this conversation, and the computer said no. So we were like, this is a disaster. We looked at Power BI, similar problem. We did start partnering with Pan Intelligence, which is a local business in Yorkshire, and what we found out quite quickly is that their tech just wasn't fast enough. Right? So we actually did go down that route. We thought this could work, but when you ask a question of your data, you want an answer. Right? You don't want to wait for ages. So that's where we got to, and this is where we got to ThoughtSpot. So we did a lot of digging around, a lot of analysis, and I'm now going to show you what we've got. So this is our platform, and here we're predicting where your sales are going to be for the next month. This is all dummy data, by the way. It's not really like B&Q's data. And then we've got the index on the right there that gives you your ranking versus your peers. And then we've pre-built 72 different, what we believe, e-commerce and best practice marketing reports. And if you imagine like a pick and mix, you can just go in there and put whichever bits into whatever report you want to do. So I'm going to show you how we would then personalize this for yourself that an account manager in an agency or someone in your marketing team could do without having to raise a ticket with the data team when you've got maybe more important things to be doing. So you could just clone that dashboard and then create your own copy. So this is all the ThoughtSpot embed product here, and you could call it what you want. And then now, once you've created a copy, we keep the templates locked so nobody can break them. But then you can go from the templates, start building what you want. So you could edit it, you could say, actually, what we're going to do is we want to put some commentary at the top. We want to put a nice image at the top. We want to put a video of someone explaining what the dashboard means at the top, which is what a lot of our agency clients do. Or you want to put a nice image of the conference you're talking about at the top with a nice software rocket emoji. And so you can put anything and you can edit all of that. And then, so from a visual drag and drop build point of view, it's much easier than anything else we've seen, and we can give that level of functionality to every single user, but you can control that. So you can say, you can edit stuff, you can't edit stuff. The other bit we like a lot about this is a lot of the dashboards are really flat, and you can't interrogate or drill into the data. So you might be like, well, what's that peaking conversion rate? Well, actually, it was Google Organic had a really good month. Right, I want to now drill further into that. So then you can start going into that and having a look. And then once we start going through into the data more, what we can then start seeing is all the different things. So you can drill into this. I've recorded part of this video on the train. You can see I kept missing the drill down bit. But you can see it work now. And then you might actually want to customize it even more and start building your own dashboards and start pinning things to different dashboards. So within here, we'll go down here and we'll start pinning these and drilling down and pinning them to our own individual dashboards. And let's say, for instance, your boss is really interested. All I'm interested in is cost and revenue. They're the two things I'm interested in. But the dashboard that you've got starts off with impressions, traffic, and they're not interested in that. So you can just go in here, it'll then save that. You can then get the individuals for every single channel. So again, we've got all the connectors for your AWINs, your SEMrushes, anything, all pre-built and within the dashboard. But let's say, so this was an example where a client said, I want to spend less money with Google. Right? I want to spend less money with Google. Who wouldn't like to spend less money with Google? So I want to understand where are we spending money with Google where it's working, but we don't rank on SEO. Now I'm like, oh, that's super simple. I can build that in a spreadsheet. I need GA4, I need AdWords, I need SEMrush, I need Search Console. I'll pull it all in. And I built this thing. And he's like, yeah, but I want it to update every week. So we built this report, and then we think, right, so then you can pin that report to your own dashboard. And you could go, actually, I also like this one, and I'm going to pin it to the dashboard we've just created, my SEO metrics dashboard. And then you can start basically customizing everything. And you can set who can see what and what they can do. And also it will build in notifications to send you if there's any significant changes in the stats or the numbers. So big fee, we work with a lot of e-commerce companies. I don't know if anybody works in e-commerce. Getting your Shopify data next to your Google data and next to your analytics data is really hard. And what Shopify says you sold versus what Google Analytics, especially GA4 said you sold, is often massively out. So now we can pull all your Shopify data in and line it all up together, all in the same place. So you could go in, you say we like the map, we like the visualization, we're going to create a particular sales map, and we're going to pin that to the dashboard because the boss loves looking at a map where all the customers are. Right? So that is all just easy at the push of a button. What we could also do now with our algorithm is say, well, we know what's selling, we know what's in stock. Can we actually, rather than what should we spend on Google, what do we need to do to shift all the stock that we've got? So maybe we do that before we go into sale. Right, so if you think about using the data to run the business better, that's what we can do. But you still might not necessarily be able to find your data in here. So what we've also embedded is the AI search function. I know that's coming up next, but this is about building a graph. Sorry, I've just come off script. So you can now, you guys are probably more technical, so if you actually just want to build your own stuff and not use any of our templates, you can. So here's all your data sources, and you can actually just go in, here's all your actual metrics, and you can just build what you want in any look, shape, or feel within our platform. And in theory, as long as you've got the data in there, you've got the full functionality of what you would get in ThoughtSpot, and you've got then down here, you can overlay with your formulas, your parameters to give you what you need to make business decisions. So that's the underlying raw data, then you can view it back as a pivot table, and then you could put it in as a graph, and you could say, right, I want to put that as a particular graph, and then you could pin that to your pre-built dashboard. And we think, and we've tested this with our clients, marketing execs can now do what they need to do for their business reporting, whereas before they were having to raise a ticket with somebody. It'd take them 2 weeks. And what normally happens is they go to Tableau, Power BI, Looker, download it to Excel, create the graph in Excel, screenshot it, and stick it in an email. All right? And that's when you've lost control of your data. So here we've got the AI search. You can go to your data sources, and you can go, right, I want to look at paid search, for instance, and I want to ask Bosco a question. I'm quite pleased I called it Ask Bosco now. So we want to ask Bosco a question. These are some questions we've asked in the past. So you might go, what was my revenue by channel last week? And then it just goes off, looks at the data, and then gives you the answer. So going back to James's point, if you're the CEO, they might have a question, or the finance director, they probably email somebody in marketing emails somebody in the data team or the agency, or they go and try and work out in a dashboard, and it could take them ages to get the data. Right, we're at the end. I didn't see that, I missed the 5-minute warning. Sorry, right, I'll just jump onto so this is what we do. All right, you've seen it, that was the end. We got a couple of seconds for questions, if anybody's got any questions. We'll be on the stand.
I think we're at time.
We'll be on the stand in the next thing, the big ThoughtSpot stand. So thank you very much for coming. Sorry that was a little bit rushed at the end.
Thank you.